All right, welcome everyone and good evening. Thank you for joining us for Roger Williams University's virtual session on what to expect in the fall. We're very excited and looking forward to having all of our new students join us on campus in the end of August, and for the excitement that comes along with MoveIn and starting the new semester. And we know that there are a lot of questions and perhaps a little bit of anxiety around sort of what to expect and what you still need to do and what you need to know. So we're really excited to be able to bring this virtual session to you all right now. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague in the Center for Student Academic Success, Allison Chase-Padula, and she'll introduce herself along with the other presenters, and we'll go ahead and get started. We are recording this session, so we ask that you ask any of your questions in the chat feature, and you can ask them throughout the session. We'll either try and break to answer them if they're kind of fit into the presentation, but we'll definitely get to any questions at the end of the presentation. So please use your chat feature, and I will hand it over to Allison.
Thanks so much, Amanda, and good evening, everyone. I'm Allison Chase-Padula. I'm the Associate Dean for Student Success at Roger Williams, and I'm joined tonight by two of my favorite colleagues on campus. And we're hoping tonight that we'll give you a bit of information to be thinking about over the next several weeks before we start the semester, and hopefully spend a majority of our time tonight answering some of the questions or talking about some of the things that are on your mind. So as Amanda mentioned, we'll be using that chat feature to be a little bit more interactive, but there is a good amount of information that we thought for some of you might be a little bit new. So we do want to spend a few minutes on that. And for lots of you, it might be a bit of a reminder and call to your attention some of the things that we think are important at this semester, begins and get you off on the right foot. As we know, this is an exciting time, thinking about one chapter, finishing up with high school, or maybe a gap year that you may have taken or some time off, and thinking about what this start of the semester is going to be like at Roger Williams. And I can tell you we're really, really excited for the fall semester on campus. We're very much looking forward to having our students back with us and getting to see all of the students that we met during new student orientation. So I'm going to pull up and try to share my screen with you all, and hopefully this will work the way I want it to. Let's see. Somehow we started. So here are the folks that are joining me tonight. As I mentioned, I'm Allison, and Carol Sacchetti, who's our Associate Dean of Student Life, who you probably will all recognize from New Student Orientation, is joining us to cover the questions and some of the important information from Student Life. And Valerie Wolstenholme, who's our Senior Academic Advisor in the Center for Student Academic Success, has joined us to talk about the Peer Mentor Program, your registration, and any questions you might have regarding the academic side of the house. So let's jump right in and get going on some of this important information. Thought it was important to just kind of acknowledge that we know you've made the right choice in Roger Williams. And we know that because we know we made the right choice in you. Most important thing to us here on campus is our students. And so hoping that you chose us because of the strong support we have on campus and the campus community that we have. We hope you felt that if you visited us or been here already for orientation. And we want you to know that that's going to be more important than it's ever been to us this upcoming semester. We're here, we're talking about the things that we need to implement for your class to be successful and to really get you into the swing of being in a full experience of college life. So we're really excited for the small fall semester, and we hope you're excited too. We want to see you thrive here. We know you might be a little bit nervous about starting, or maybe you're a lot nervous. That's totally okay. We want you to enjoy your summer and spend time with family and friends and doing the things you enjoy this summer. But we want you to come to us for the fall semester well rested and really focused on starting your academic journey. So how can we help you get ready with that? The most important thing I want to impress on you is staying on top of the communication that's coming from Roger Williams. Many of you have been really good about this, and some of you need a little work in that area. So we wanted to reiterate to you all of our official communication now that you're officially at Hawk. comes to you through our Roger Williams email. So if you're not in the habit of checking that frequently, and I would say, you know, given the time of year that we're in, that's every day, every other day, please get in the habit of checking the email. That's how a lot of our offices will be sending you important information. And we really want you to stay on top of the things that you need to get done for the semester. The way that we help make that a bit more manageable for you, because we know it's a lot of information, right, is that we've created the first year student checklist. And the admission office has done a really great job of organizing all of the information of things that you need to be completing by month so that you can follow that checklist and work right along with it. If you have any questions about things that are on that checklist, please reach out to the admission office or to the respective office that question relates to. There are lots of folks on campus this summer who are ready and willing to help you get those questions answered and get that to-do list completed. But it's a really great habit to get into of checking that on a regular basis to make sure that you're keeping up with things. And I'm going to see if we can dive right into what that looks like in case you haven't been using that yet. This is what that page looks like. Lots of great information for you. I'll highlight right now the financial aid office is doing counseling sessions so that you can see, you can sign up for that type of information. This is really the hub that we want you to be using to get all of the most up-to-date information, how you can connect with your classmates. And as I mentioned, there's those to-do lists by the month. There's also a brand new section in there that's new important dates for August, and we're going to touch base on what some of those important dates are for you. But this is a really great place for you to be connecting with the university on a regular basis. Now let's see the tricky part, and can I get back to the actual presentation now that I got into the link? Let's see. Okay. The other big thing that we want you to be thinking about, and the advertising has already started in all of our favorite stores, right? It's the back to school time, as much as that makes us a little bit sad to know summer's moving along, is as you're starting to think about packing your bags, there's a really great link that you can go to from our webpage that the Student Life Office has put together that talks about all the things that you might want to start thinking about putting together. If you're one of those people that likes to be really on top of things and wants to start buying things for your room and thinking about what you need for supplies and things, there's great suggestions for this, what you might want to think about adding into those lists that you have to do over the next several weeks. We'll take questions from you. I know we've been getting lots of questions about what do I actually need? And these are all just suggestions for you. You certainly don't need to go through and pick everything that's on this list, but there's some ideas for you on here. And I will mention, we like to remind folks that the beds here are extra long twin. So those are the most important things to be thinking about when you're doing that shopping for the residence hall room if you're living on campus. But we invite you to check out that webpage and let the housing office know if you have any specific questions about what you might need for your room. On the academic side of the house, if you're a student and you were with us in June orientation, you heard me remind you that if you had any AP credits, any courses that you took at other schools, that we want to make sure that we have that information so that we can adjust your schedule if necessary. The AP scores come out in July, and so we will do a review of all of your schedules if you did have AP credits that are coming in to make sure that you're not in a class that you're going to receive credit for. But if you did take AP and you haven't indicated that you wanted those scores to go to Roger Williams, we definitely need you to do that. Likewise, if you're taking any courses right now at another institution, we want to make sure that you send that official transcript to the admissions office so that they can make sure your academic department in the registrar's office has that information. Also, I mentioned the financial aid office is doing those counseling appointments. Now is really the time to be finalizing your financial aid, making sure that you've completed your online loan entrance counseling. There's some great information on the financial aid webpage, frequently asked questions and such. And as always, if you feel more comfortable talking with someone, you are more than welcome to contact the financial aid office, and they will give you the help that you will need to get that completed. And then another important thing that needs to get completed is we need to have students and their families either waive or accept the university health insurance by August 15th. So you have about a month left to get that taken care of, but I always think it's better to get those things done as early as possible. So we do need you to take a look at that and waive or accept it by that date. Last thing, and then I'll turn it over to my friends, is to think about your students, think about that student ID that you're going to have. And that ID is what you carry around campus to get into different places. It's your official ID for the university. So you were given the option to submit a photo for your student ID. And so I've put up on the page here the email address for Tracy Cookingham, who is our person who takes care of those photos. She asked me today to remind students that this is your official photo for the university. So I know our young students are efficient and very good with TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and do lots of cool filters and all kinds of fun things. And we like fun here, but we need to be able to see your face. And we want to make sure that it's an official photo that will be located not only in your ID, but in our system. So if you need any help with getting that photo uploaded, please let Tracy know. But now is a great time to look through your photos on your phone roll and find something you think could work for your student ID. Another big one, uploading proof of your COVID vaccination. It's actually due today. And that gets uploaded right through the health services portal. So if you haven't had the chance to do that yet, we really need you to get that in. We've had great compliance with this from the class, and we want to make sure that we have everybody taking care of that notification as soon as they can. So again, today's the deadline. If you could take care of that for health services, they would greatly appreciate it. The last piece of information that needs to be completed before students actually check in and arrive for us for the fall semester is what we call the Hawks online training courses. There's 3 different courses. There's an alcohol education, a sexual assault prevention, and a diversity, equity, and inclusion portion that all need to be completed. And this is for all first-year students. It's a way for us to ensure that you have some really basic, important information in these areas before you start as a new college student. These courses are all personalized and confidential, and you can take them at your own pace. It's really good idea to get these done on the early side and not put them off to the last minute, because we don't want you trying to move in and then having these significant courses left to take when you're also trying to get settled in and start the semester. So again, on that, now's a great time to be taking those courses and getting that finished. I'm going to turn it over next to Dean Sacchetti, who's going to talk about August orientation and then some of the programming happening in the fall. Carol?
Sure. Thanks so much, Allison. And as Allison said, I really appreciated spending a lot of time in June with most of you on this call. I see some of the names, and I remember having some great conversations with you. And for those of you who will be attending our August orientation, I'm really looking forward to meeting you virtually next Monday and Tuesday when we'll have our virtual course registration. So if you have questions on that, I'd be more than happy to answer them either in the chat, or I will share my email with you at the end. I want to share the dates of our International Student Orientation, which is August 23rd through the 25th, and our August orientation on August 24th and 25th. As a reminder, for students attending both international or August orientation, you'll be moving into your residence hall rooms if you are a resident student, and our office will work with the housing office to make sure that you are all taken care of. every student will receive information regarding check-in in their either residential welcome letter or their commuter welcome letter. And as a reminder, all new students, with the exception of those who will be here for International August Orientation, will check in either on Thursday, August 26th, or Friday, August 27th. And I know I've heard from some students, well, which day am I going to get? And I've just reminded students is you'll get a date on that letter. And if you have to make a change, you can easily email our housing office to make that change. Commuter students will be checking in on Friday, August 27th. And as I said, more information is going to be sent to your RW email address. And as Dean Padula said, checking your RW email address is so important. As you'll hear in this presentation, there's some information that's very important for you coming up in the next few weeks that we really want to make sure you get. And I also wanted to remind, if you are a commuter student, you want to make sure that you order your parking pass. And you can do that beginning on August 1st, and you'll pick up that parking pass as part of our new student check-in. And then I think, Allison, if you can switch the slide, our next set of reminders. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to introduce you to Val, and Val's going to talk to more about our peer mentor program.
All right, thanks so much, Carol. Hi, everybody. So you will be receiving some outreach from your assigned peer mentor that will be with you for the entire year, next year, your fall and spring semester at the end of July. So around the last week of July, first week of August, they will be connecting with you probably via text message, perhaps an email, but just be looking for a friendly outreach from a student that's just looking to be your buddy and guide as you get acclimated to the Roger Williams campus. And as well, they're going to introduce you to our social media pages. So we have some fun things in the works right now. We're creating a TikTok, we're creating a LinkedIn, we're creating an Instagram page that we're really hoping that you will explore, join, and participate in some fun events. And of course, online events, but things that will get you ready and excited to join us in the fall. So next slide. All right, and other things that you'll look forward to. So housing assignments will be released the first week of August, so you'll find out where you're going to be living. New student convocation, and Carol, I know that these are all areas within your wheelhouse, so if you want to join in with me at any time, please feel free. But new student convocation welcome ceremony is going to be Friday, August 27th at 2:30 p.m. And then we as well have fall orientation, which all new students are required to attend. This will run Saturday, August 28th through Monday, August 30th. And then we have our first day of class. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, and Val, students don't need to worry about signing up for fall orientation because both Val's office and my office have already registered you. So it's one less thing you have to worry about. You will get an itemized schedule of where you need to be during those 3 days from us when you check in.
That's right. And our first day of classes is Tuesday, August 31st. So of course you don't need to sign up for that because you'll already be in classes and you'll be knowing where you're going to be going because your peer mentors are going to be doing an awesome job at guiding you prior to that first day of class. You'll receive a tour from them. You will know the location of your first day of class. So I know that that's probably something that's really scary, and you know, looking at the campus and how big it is, I want you to really feel comfortable and safe when you attend that first day of class, and just know that we're going to be there for you. We'll be walking around making sure that if anybody looks like, oh no, I don't know where I'm going, we will find you and we will help you get to where you need to be. Okay. Tardiness is not an issue on the first day of class, I promise. And then our week of welcome, so wow week, will be the first week of classes. And does that go into the second week too?
Actually, Weeks of Welcome is a great program that many campus partners and departments and our clubs and organizations put on. And it's actually the first 30 days. So Weeks of Welcome starts September 1st and doesn't end until September 30th. And there is at least one event each day for you to be able to meet campus resources, learn more about clubs and organizations, and really get to meet not only your incoming class, but other students in the community. And the highlight for our involvement fair is our involvement fair on September 8th, where you can have lunch and walk around and look at all of our clubs and organizations. And if there is your family listening in, we're going to invite them back to come to Homecoming and Family Weekend on October 22nd and 24th. And we have our schedule and information on the page, which I'll put in the chat momentarily. Families that are listening will learn that our registration for Homecoming and Family Weekend or events will open on August 1st.
So one of the exciting things that we're planning for your arrival for the fall semester is what we're calling first year learning communities. And if you were with us in June, you heard me speak a little bit about this. And if you haven't come to orientation yet, I want to make sure you know what this is because it will be added to all of your schedules. We want to make sure that you are having a sense of belonging, that you're getting involved on campus, that you're getting to meet people, that you're feeling comfortable with campus, and that you have a place to talk about the things that are on your mind, to ask those questions, and to really get to know a small group of classmates and a faculty and staff member who will be leading this learning community. We're going to be talking about things like what does it mean to make a successful transition to college and to Roger Williams specifically. We're going to introduce you again to resources, things that will be helpful for you to know about in your first year. And we're also going to talk about wellness. How do you take care of yourself? How do you manage and have a balance with your academic life and your social life? How do you have fun on campus? How do you relieve stress? All those things that are really important in taking care of yourself will all be topics that we'll be talking about in these learning communities. They'll meet for an hour a week for the first 8 to 10 weeks of the semester. And again, it's not a class that you're going to get graded in or have homework in, but it's really just a place for you to come together with a small group every week to learn about the things that are important during those first few weeks, to ask those questions so that you can feel comfortable asking those questions and to hopefully meet some new friends and really get a sense of what the campus community is like as a new student. So we're really looking forward to that. If you were here in June, that's been added onto your schedule. And if you'll be registering for classes on Monday and Tuesday with us, we'll make sure that you are registered for one of those sessions. So we look forward. Many of the folks on the screen today are some of the leaders, the facilitators of those learning communities. And we really look forward to the opportunity to get to see you every week and get to know you really better. My computer is doing all kinds of wacky things today. So Val, if you could talk a little bit about advisement and registration again and make sure that folks have a sense for what we hope that will be on their schedule. And if they have any questions about that, they'll know that they can ask.
Absolutely, I'd love to. So the main thing to recognize here is that all fall course schedules are going to look a little different. So if you're comparing your schedule next to your friends, you may not be in the exact same classes as them, and that is okay. But there are a couple things that we just want you to recognize and note on your schedule because they're important. So if you do have this schedule, you're going to want to be registered for, as Allison was just talking about, that first year learning community. And it's just an acronym, FYLC. You can't miss it. If it's on your schedule, great. If you don't have one, let us know. We'll get you in one. You're going to want to be registered for one core Roger seminar course. And the way to identify that is it will be a core course, but instead of it just saying core 102, 103, 104, 105, it's going to have in capital letters ROG right next to it. And that will identify your Roger seminar. And that's something that you'll want to be in your very first semester. And you only need to take that once. And then you'll want to have a minimum of 12 credits and a maximum of 18 credits, which indicates that you are full-time status. And if you have not already registered, and you're going to be attending the August orientation, you will be registering with us. I think we mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the presentation, but you'll be registering with us virtually on Monday or Tuesday of next week, okay? And then as far as placement testing, tests are still open. You received many, many notifications prior to the spring semester ending about being able to complete these tests, but they're still open for you. So if you haven't completed them, don't worry, you still can. The main tests that we're going to want you to take prior to you beginning your fall semester is writing and math. But math, however, is really an indication of the major that you're already declared in. So if you're confused and they're like, I don't know if I should take it or not, just reach out to CSAS and we will tell you if you should be taking your math placement or not. And Angela Raymond as our coordinator, I do have her hyperlinked right there, and I'll throw that in the chat when I'm done talking. But if you have any questions about your placement testing, you can reach out to Angela. We also do have the math placement open for a second time for various reasons. Sometimes students want to retake that math test. So again, if you need a little bit of advisement on that and why you would need to retest, just let us know and we'll talk to you about it, okay? Okay.
Another important thing that is always, I think, one of the most important things for you to have a sense of the timing of the academic cycle is to take a look at the Roger Williams academic calendar. And you can check that out by just typing in academic calendar from our website. It'll give you the first day of classes. It'll let you know when the end of exams is for the first semester. The reason I point that out to you is that many of you are coming to us from all different places around the country and around the world. And I know that folks as early as now are starting to think about if they have to make plane arrangements or other travel arrangements. So take a look at the academic calendar so that you know when things are starting up. We already mentioned to you those dates for MoveIn and for fall orientation. Fall orientation, I think it's important for you to know, we have an extended orientation program here, right? So you come in the summer for June or August orientation, we get you acclimated, we get you registered for classes. And then when you come in the fall, we spend more time going over really important information, but mostly having a lot of fun. We want you to get to meet your new classmates, to meet faculty and staff on campus. So those days are really dedicated to, if you're living on campus, getting moved in, getting settled in your rooms, getting the lay of the land, right, in your residence halls. If you're a commuter student, equally important, figuring out where you're going to park, learning about the many places that you want to get familiar with on campus so that you have places to go in between things. And again, really making connections with your new classmates. That orientation program is mandatory. So we always like to really reiterate to folks that if you are living on campus and you're moving in during those move-in days, you're going to be moving right into your rooms and going right into that fall orientation program. And if you're a commuter student, you're going to be joining us on campus for those fall orientation days because that's really the start of our semester. So we want to make sure that you're all really clear about that so you have lots of times to make arrangements for your work schedules and other commitments that you have, but we really want to bring together the entire class for that fall orientation so that you have that time to get settled in for the semester.
I'll sit here. Yep.
I think we've got some, there we go. We have a little bit of feedback coming in. We are going to post this information for you afterwards. So I know lots of people are putting in, can you say that date again, or can you give us that link? We'll make sure that you have information for all the things that we mentioned today. And again, I know it's a lot of information, but really our goal was to kind of highlight some of those things again and really give you an opportunity to ask some questions. We didn't want to be remiss about mentioning a couple of important academic places for support again. One, if you need to make any changes to your schedule, you want to talk about your major or minor, anything academic related, please reach out to the advising office. Val's a member of that staff, and let us know what we can help you with. We're here all summer. We want you to be thinking about utilizing the academic support centers on campus. So our tutoring center presented during orientation, a really interactive session that I know students really enjoyed to get you thinking about the ways in which you can advocate for yourself and really get the support that you need. And then for students who have learning disability, a medical condition, a physical disability, who might be in need of support, we encourage you now, it's not too early to do this, to register with the Student Accessibility Service Office. And they have a great online system that will help you register and begin to learn more about how you can set yourself up for success. So we invite you to check out their webpage, Student Accessibility Services. You can just type it in right from the homepage and get yourself registered. If I had $1 for every student who doesn't register with that office, who could have, who at the end of the first semester says, gee, I really wish I had done that, I would be a very rich woman. So I encourage you, if you fit into that category, if that's something that you think would help you, we have a culture here of people accessing that office and getting great support. I hope you take some time over the next couple of weeks to get registered. So really what we wanted to do was give you some of that information and then really open it up for questions. We know there's probably lots of things on your mind. No question is too small or too big. So we'll spend some time now doing our best to address those questions that are coming in. Amanda, do you want to kind of lead us, moderate us in these questions, or what would work best?
Nope, I think that would work best. I think a lot of them have gotten answered already. If we could just, there were a couple, and I think we've answered them, but I just want to reiterate the AP credit process, Allison, if you can just help them again with that. There seems to be a little bit of confusion around that.
Sure. So AP credits, if you did do that and you took the exam and you already requested those AP scores to be sent to us, they will go in to us and we will review them for you. So I know somebody had asked you, if you took AP and you took the exam, do I need to do anything to change my schedule? Once we get all of those AP scores, a group of us spends time going through each and every one of those student schedules to make sure that they're not enrolled in a class that they may be getting credit for. So you don't need to do a thing. However, if you didn't ask for your AP scores to be sent to us, I do need you to request that. And you can request that right through College Board directly. If you have any questions on how to do that or ensure that process, feel free to reach out to the advising office or the registrar's office, and we'll definitely help you with that. We've already heard from lots of students that they're hoping for good scores on those exams so that those credits will come in. If you have any questions on that, just let the advising office know. We'll help you out with that.
Excellent, thank you. And a couple questions bubbling up about when they will find out when their housing assignments will come out.
So housing assignments are coming out the first week of August, right, Carol?
Yes, I believe that will be the last possible date that you will receive your housing information. And Allison and Amanda, if I can say, that housing information is going to have your room number, your roommate, and their contact info. And it's going to have a time slot for your specific move-in day for you to request your time to move in. So a lot of great information that will be coming out regarding your housing assignment. For our friends who are commuting, you will also receive your letter the same day as all your friends who are resident students, talking about your check-in time on the Friday, August 27th.
And Carol, can you let us know, because I know one question that always comes up is during move-in day, who's allowed to come with students and kind of what does that look like that day?
Sure. At this point, we are saying students can bring 2 family members with them. And what we do is we try to do some one-stop shopping to make your experience easier. We're going to have you check in our campus recreation center. You'll get your student ID, you'll get your room key, you will turn in any outstanding paperwork, you will get everything you need prior to going to the residence halls, if you're a resident student, right at our main check-in site. And I'm hopeful we're going to send some information and do another webinar to explain how move-in day is going to work. We have faculty, staff, and our student leaders who are all excited to welcome you on campus. They're going to help check you in. They're going to help direct traffic. They're going to greet you at the residence halls and really want to make sure you feel, welcomed to the Roger community.
Excellent. And then I think we just need to rephrase August orientation. So some confusion, if you attended June, do you need to attend August? And so they complement each other. They're not in place of.
Correct, Amanda. So if you joined us in June orientation, you do not attend August orientation. Any student who has not attended an August orientation a June orientation will attend our August session on the 24th and 25th. Every incoming new student to the Roger community will attend our fall orientation program, which begins with the Convocation program on Friday, August 27th, and ends that Monday, August 30th. And I've gotten some messages in the private chat. There are also sessions on Saturday and Sunday. So students who are commuting or residential students living nearby should take that time off of work, as there are some sessions that we want to complement what you've already learned in orientation as we prepare you for not only the first day of classes and your academic experience, but the Roger community as a whole.
And then Carol, family weekend, siblings are invited to attend as well. Is that correct?
Yep, siblings are invited, and families will be able to see our committee is starting to meet to put our schedule together, and you will see some information and the start of our schedule on August 1st on our homecoming webpage.
If I could just make a plug for that, Homecoming and Family Weekend is just a really terrific time on campus. It's a lot of fun for our students and their families. It's a nice opportunity to get to see one another after you've been apart for a little bit. Lots of fun activities, lots of really great food and just fun things to do. So it's a great way to have your family and friends and loved ones come to campus and get a sense for what you're experiencing on campus. And we always get the question from students who maybe your family and your loved ones aren't able to join us over family and homecoming weekend. That's absolutely fine. It's open for everyone. So we have lots of students who go, together with roommates and other folks that they live with in their residence halls. And there's lots of, staff and faculty around for the weekend too. So we have a great time getting to see one another and enjoying the campus. So if your family's able to attend, that's terrific. And if they're not, please don't feel left out. There's lots going on for you.
Lots of questions about book requirements for their classes. So when do the faculty post them? Where should they look for them? How do they get their books?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you do for books. One, I would invite you to visit the Barnes & Noble Campus Bookstore webpage. You can get to that right from the university webpage. Just type in Campus Bookstore, and that will give you some information. They have a really great service where you can get their assistance in putting together your books, and then when you move in August, you'd stop by and actually pick up. They'll have your books bundled together for you. That's an option. Faculty pass in their books. Hopefully they've done it by this time. So those that have already done that, you might see with a few of the real early bird faculty members that maybe they've posted information in Bridges about their books. If not, and most likely, more likely, as we get closer to the semester, so late August, mid-August, you'll start to see book information listed in Bridges. You might get an email from one of your faculty members, but the bookstore is a really great way, I think, especially in your first year, to get your books and access that and have some extra help in doing that. There are other, venues to secure books, and you're welcome to do that. If you have any questions, call the bookstore though, and they'll be able to help you with pulling those books. We also often get questioned about, are there particular supplies needed for particular majors? And if you are in one of those majors, that does require you to have some supplies. Most notably comes to mind is architecture, for instance. You should have received some information already from that school. If you are looking for information on what's recommended computer-wise, there is some information on our information technology page about that. a lot of it is, personal preference, unless you're in a specific major that may have some suggestions for you. And again, those departments will let you know what that is well ahead of time so that you can plan. There are also places for students, if you're not coming with your own device, certainly in the library and in some of our computer labs on campus, to be able to access devices as well.
And Allison, just staying on that note, just a quick question. Can you remind everybody what Bridges is exactly?
Thank you. Yes. Sometimes we forget because we use so many names and acronyms here. So Bridges is the learning management system that we use on campus. So when you came to campus, we showed you a little bit about that. When you come back in August, we're going to show you again how to log into that, but you were sent information electronically, with your login information. That's going to give you information specifically about your classes. So each of your classes will have a location in Bridges where they'll post information about the class. So the teachers will put your syllabus there. They'll put the book information there. And then some classes actually use Bridges to post some information and to input assignments and that type of thing. We'll go over that with you in depth again when you move in the fall. But if you would like to start peeking around in that, you're welcome to do that now. And if you're unsure how to access Bridges, you can contact our media services department and they'll help you with that login information. And we always encourage you, if you're stuck and you don't know where else to go, admissions and the Center for Student Academic Success and our orientation office are also great places to ask any of the questions that maybe after we're done today and you think, oh, I should have asked about this. Please just let us know what those questions are, because even if it's not something for our department specifically, we'll make sure we get you that information.
Austin, can I add something on Bridges?
Yes, totally.
I know those of you who came to orientation, we use the guidebook app for a lot of great information, and we've posted our sessions that you saw Dean Padula doing and some of our staff. I'm going to post under student information the Bridges video that you all watched if you attended orientation, just as a great refresher on what Bridges can do and how it can make your life so much easier on the academic side.
Awesome. And I think books are weighing heavily on everybody's mind. So I'm going to group a couple of the questions together. Do we have to buy books from the campus bookstores? The first part of that question. The second part of the question is do they sell used books there? And also, I think just a concerned parent probably asking, do most kids get their books on the first day, or is there an earlier process?
Sure, all good questions. And I'll invite my colleagues to jump into it in case I might miss anything. You do not have to buy your books through the bookstore. It is a service that's offered to you. Our faculty are all required to put in their book orders officially through the bookstore. So you'll always be able to get a book through the bookstore. But students and families make all sorts of choices, and that's totally up to you. The bookstore does offer new books, and they do offer used books. Certainly with used books, there's lots of different levels of used, right? So something that's used means that it was, purchased through the bookstore. It might have a little bit of scribble in it or a little bit of underlining. I always tell students, if you're looking to purchase something that's used, flip through that if you're physically on campus and look to find something that maybe doesn't have a lot of writing in it. Used books are great. I remember I always looked for the used books because they're economical. There are some students who prefer having a new book with no writing in there, and that's certainly up to you. There are other places that you can order your books from. I just make sure that you're really careful about not only the name of the book and the offer, but the edition of the book, right? So sometimes a book might be that the faculty member you're using is the 5th edition, and you might be seeing something online that looks pretty inexpensive and it's the 2nd edition. I caution you with that because there may be elements of that book that are very different from that 2nd edition to the 5th edition. So many of our classes will give you required books, and then they will also list some that are additional. And so I usually, for the additional, will tell students, and in most cases, you're going to get a sense from the faculty member on how necessary it is for you to purchase those other books. They might just be including it on there, you know, for extra information, or a student who's really interested in something in particular. You don't need to have all of your books before the first day of classes. If you talk to many of our upperclassmen, they will say, go to class, make sure that you're getting the right books, get the sense from the faculty member how much they're going to be using different things so that you can make some choices on that. The other thing that I would mention is that books are expensive, as many other things as part of higher ed. It's an investment, right? We always want to make sure those students have access to what they need for those classes. So if you are a student who's listening to this, and at any point you're not sure if you're going to be able to procure all of your books, please let us know that that's a challenge for you. The worst situation is to have a student who can't get a book because of financial reasons for, you know, a few weeks, or they're running into an issue with getting something and they don't know what to do, and then they just don't tell us. If you find yourself in a situation where financially you can't do it, or maybe you ordered something and it didn't come in, and you're running into a situation where the book just isn't there for you and classes is moving along and you're getting behind, please come see us in the Center for Student Academic Success. We will help you problem solve that situation. Most important thing is that you have those books, you know, a couple of days into the class, and that you're ready to get going on readings and other things that are being assigned. The bookstore is a very busy place the first week or so of the semester. So that's why I did mention that bundle option. I think for peace of mind and convenience sake, a lot of our students take advantage of it. We'll see them walking around with these bundle boxes down, you know, to their classes or their residence halls room. So that is very popular. I think as students have been here a semester or two or a year or two, they get more comfortable with, you know, finding other resources. Lastly, you'll also notice that some of our classes use what's called open educational resources, which basically means that all of the resources for their classes are listed online, and you can find them. You don't have to pay for them. So if you do have one of those classes that mentions OER, that's what it means, is that you'll be able to get all of that information available on the web with no fees. Excellent.
Thank you. That was two last questions, was do all classes require textbooks and are some online? But you just wrapped that up, Allison. So thank you. Just going back a little bit, Carol, just confirmation, asking if they need a COVID test before August orientation.
At this point, we are going to recommend a COVID test, and we will be doing a rapid test for every student who is checking in. Again, more information is going to come out with specifics shortly for all students.
Great, thank you. Quick question was, is there going to be a link sent out for this recording? And yes, we will be sending it out early next week to everyone who attended and those who couldn't make it, so we can share this information, and you can go back perhaps and catch something you might have missed or follow up on something. So we will be sending this out in the in your email. And a quick follow-up, we talked a lot about those Hawks Online training courses. There is an email that will go out tomorrow. It's slated to go out to your student email addresses tomorrow with all of that information on it. So look to your email addresses for that. And a couple questions about meal plans. I know one student asked if you can change your meal plan if you're going to be a residential student, and sort of what are the options with meal plans?
I'll take the meal plan one. There are students who are going to live in university housing, and specifically if you're joining us on South Campus, you will have to purchase a meal plan. And there's 3 various block plans based on what's going to be the best for you. So I am going to put the link in the chat so you can see the difference between the 230 block plan, 225 block plan, and the block is your meals. And then you'll hear about and see about Hawk Dollars. Hawk Dollars is money on your student ID that you can use at any retail location on campus. So you want to get a coffee between class, or a smoothie, or grab a slice of pizza late night, you would use your Hawk Dollars. And many returning students will tell you they're like gold on campus. So you want to make sure you budget your Hawk Dollars very appropriately so you don't run out. And more information, not only on hot dollars, but our various commuter plan is listed in the link that I just put in the chat. Meal plans are still open. Students have always been able to change your meal plan within the first 2 weeks of the semester. So students, you'll be able to go online and information on that will be in your residential letter on how you can change your meal plan within the first 2 weeks of the semester. After those 2 weeks, you can't change to a different plan and you'll have to, you would only be able to change for the next upcoming semester.
Excellent. Thank you, Carol. So the chat seems to have gotten a little bit quiet, and we have about 8 minutes left. Any last minute questions or requests for more information? And again, you can email admin@rw.edu, csas@rw.edu with any other questions, and one of our offices will gladly follow up with you or connect you with the appropriate office to answer your question. As Allison mentioned in the very beginning of the session, we encourage you to go to that checklist, use it often. I will just add in that I work in the Office of Admission, but I'm also the parent of an incoming first-year student. So I look at the checklist quite often, and I'm trying to make sure we're staying on top of all of those things as well. So it's a really great resource tool. And certainly if anywhere along the way you have questions or want to know more information, please don't hesitate to contact us. Students, you are getting a lot of information to your g.rw.edu email address, so please be checking that regularly. We'll be communicating almost every step of the checklist through email with you as well. The link for this recording will be sent to your email address early next week. And just a last minute question about your Hawk dollars. Do they transfer the spring semester if you don't use them all? Very important question.
Yes, they transfer from fall to spring, but at the end of the spring semester, your Hawk dollars do not transfer from academic year to academic year. So you want to make sure you use them up. And as any of us on this chat can tell you, we know students will use those Hawk dollars. So.
And conversely, we want to make sure that students don't spend too much of it all at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So students and families, it's good to have a conversation about, what the budget is going to be for those Hawk dollars and just the budget in general. I think it's one of the most important conversations that families can have over the summer. You can put additional dollars on for students as the semester goes on, but there's nothing worse than a student, not eating in the dining hall when you're paying for a meal plan and using all of those extra dollars for all kinds of other things. So it's good to have a conversation about how much they'll have on their account. And the food here is great. And so I'm always encouraging students to use their meal plan. It's fine to order some food and do some fun things at other times, but you have really outstanding food here that you're paying for. So we encourage you to use that meal plan.
So just closing up on that. So yes, you can add extra Hawk dollars, as Allison mentioned, and you can keep track of your Hawk dollars. There's an app that students can download that you can keep track of all that, and parents can actually add money to that, or families or grandparents. My son, an entering freshman, has sent the link to his grandparent to add money frequently to that. So anyone can have access and sort of help out that way. And also, I believe when you use it at any of the locations, they can always give you a quick update where your Hawk dollars are at as well. You are assigned a meal plan, and then after you can change that. So I know someone asked about picking one, but it's assigned, and that will come in your residential letter, as Carol had mentioned, and then you can make that change up to 2 weeks. When parents come to help move in, how long do they stay, and can they tour campus? I'll refer to Carol on how long they can stay, but I will let you know that we are closed for campus tours during move-in because there's just a lot of people on campus, a lot of cars on campus, a lot of moving pieces. So we do pause official campus tours. You obviously are welcome to look around if you'd like and visit outdoor locations. Some of the buildings may not be accessible, but we are not offering official campus tours during move-in. Carol, I don't know if we have a minimum for how long they can stay.
We don't have a minimum as of yet, but realizing that at each day after our move-in, especially if students move in on that Thursday, There is some programming for students that evening. So we want you to say goodbye to your family. And then after our convocation program on Friday, the 27th, your student has their fall orientation programming started. So there's a great time in that schedule to say goodbye to family that are still there and for them to enjoy their time in the local community and for students to head to dinner and enjoy meeting members of their community.
Just a quick, there were a couple of requests for an architecture kit in the bookstore. I don't know if that is available. You can certainly email us at admin@rw.edu and we'll try and connect with the bookstore to find an update on that. That was a question that came up a couple of times and I'm just not sure if it was restocked in the bookstore. I would suspect that they know with the incoming class coming that it will be restocked. I just don't know if that happened or specifically when. So we will do that as soon as possible. If you email us, we can connect with them and let you know. So I know there's a lot of questions still popping up about the meal plans. And I think Carol put the link in the chat for the meal plans, but certainly if you have more specific questions, we can connect you with the offices that can answer those questions about what one is picked, how to change, how to add money, hawk dollars, all of that. The question about using cash for meal purchases if needed in addition to their meal plan. That one I'm not sure about.
I can answer that. And I'm putting the link again because I know there were so many great questions. I don't want people to have to, I know we're trying to feverishly go back in the chat. So there's a link again for meal plans. Last year we didn't have any cash transactions. So as Allison and had said about adding money, you can add extra dollars onto your app, which is called the Get app. You will all receive information. Trust me, it's the app that we know everybody downloads before they get here so you can get your meals. But it will give not only the declining balance and how many hot dollars, you can also add money to it. But we really went cashless last year. We know a lot of students, you don't really have cash a lot of times. So we really use that app to really control how the spending works for dining. And yes, to that mom, if you drop your son off on Thursday, yes, come back on Friday, come to Convocation, and we will definitely make time for you to see your students before they go into fall orientation.
And just a quick plug at the end of the session for Convocation, because I think we talked about that earlier and Carol just mentioned again. Convocation is a great time to connect with your student again if you drop them off Thursday, but it's also a really like momentous event for families, for the students, for us at the school. It's really the start of this new chapter officially, and it's a great event to attend if you can. I don't know if Carol or Allison want to add anything in, but just something to keep in mind, definitely.
I was just going to mention what it was, so I'm glad that you did that. It's the actual formal welcome, academic welcome into the institution. So the faculty are present, the president, the provost, and the offices of the university, and students hear some great speeches and welcome by a number of folks across campus. And it's just a nice welcome ceremony. Always kind of gets us a little verklempt. It marks the beginning, you know, like commencement is the end of their experience. Convocation is the beginning. So we do really enjoy when families are able to join us for that ceremony. If you can make it, it'd be terrific to see you there.
And the dress code for that is, we actually give the class, for some of you that have gotten an email from me or you put on your orientation registration, your t-shirt size, we actually give you a class t-shirt and you wear that to Convocation with shorts, khakis, jeans, and your whole class will process in together for the first time. So it's kind of really nice to see.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We will do several more virtual sessions throughout the summer on housing and you know what to expect and some other opportunities to engage and connect with all of us outside of emailing and calling, which we strongly encourage you do. So please keep your eye on the emails and the invitations, and we're really excited to see all of you in August. Thank you so much for joining us.
The housing email, housing, RW housing, or housing and RW?
RWU housing.
Thank you.
In RWU.
Remember that one.
Nice to see so many people.
Mhm.
Thanks, Val, for putting so many things together and making it happen. Carol, glad you were able to join us.
Allison, I just wanted to spend the rest of my day with you.
I know.
So
I know.
Thank you. I learned a lot as an incoming parent, so thank you all.
there'll be a quiz later on to see how well you do. I would give you an A or a sticker, whichever you preferred.
Like you think you know everything and then it turns out.
I know. Well, and I always learn something from it too. Like there was a few things Carol was explaining and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
me too.
I'm like, oh, I have to do that.
something.
I have to do that yet.
We all learn from each other. I've learned more about AP classes and IB credits from my friends.
Yeah, there were like 125 families joined us, so I'm really excited.
That's really
That's awesome.
That's
Hi.
Maybe they use those
Very
links.
Yep. Can I ask my CSAS friends a question? Because two students messaged me privately who are coming on Monday. If they haven't done the math placement test,
Yeah.
do it over the weekend and we'll have the results before they register.
Yeah, they can
Okay.
follow the exact same information that was sent to them from Angela. Nothing changed.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, ladies, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Welcome, you
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.